You're not broke because of the economy. You're not broke because of your boss. You're not broke because life is unfair. You're broke because every morning you wake up and choose comfort over discipline. Every single morning. I've watched men with half your salary build real wealth, and I've watched men with twice your income die with nothing. The difference was never the money. It was never the opportunity. It was the choices made in the quiet moments when nobody was watching. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That thing you were supposed to do last Monday and the Monday before that. This video is not here to motivate you. Motivation is for people who need a feeling before they act. This is for people who are ready to hear the truth. My name is Frank Malone. I'm 67 years old. I grew up in the South Bronx. My father worked in a warehouse. My mother cleaned offices at night. We were not poor by accident. We were poor by pattern. I spent my 20s believing the system was the problem. I started a business and failed, lost everything, blamed everyone. At 30, I had a child, and something shifted. Not motivation, not inspiration, just the quiet understanding that excuses don't feed anyone. By 43, I was financially free, real estate, a transport business, stocks, some early investments that paid off. Nothing exotic, nothing overnight, just decisions made consistently over time, without waiting to feel ready. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm not here to tell you that you can do it. I'm here to show you why you haven't. The excuse is always reasonable. Here's the thing about excuses. They're never stupid. They always make sense. I'll start when I have more time. I'll invest when I have more money. I'll change when things settle down. These are not lazy thoughts. These are intelligent thoughts in the service of staying still. I said the same things at 22, at 25, at 28. And every year I said them, I lost a year. The excuse doesn't feel like a choice. That's the trap. It feels like logic, like responsibility, like being realistic. But I'll tell you what, realistic gets you. It gets you the same life in 10 years that you have today. Just older, more tired, with fewer options. The men I've seen change their lives didn't wait for the right moment. They started in the wrong moment, on purpose, because they understood something most people never figure out. The conditions will never be perfect, and waiting for perfect is just quitting with better vocabulary. Discipline is not motivation. People think discipline is something you feel. It's not. Discipline is what you do when you feel nothing, when you're tired, when it's not working yet, when nobody is clapping. I woke up at 5 a.m. for 3 years straight while building my transport business. I didn't want to, not once. But I did it because the alternative was staying exactly where I was. Motivation comes and goes. It's designed to disappear. That's why people who rely on motivation fail consistently. They feel inspired on Sunday night. By Tuesday, the feeling is gone. And without the feeling, there's no action. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It just moves. You want to know the secret to every person who built something real? They showed up on the days they didn't want to, especially those days, because those are the days that separate the people who mean it from the people who talk about it. Most people talk about it for years and then wonder why nothing changed. What you do with your hours. Let me ask you something honest. What did you do last night between 8 p.m. and midnight? I already know the answer for most of you. Screen, scroll, series, sleep. 4 hours every night. That's 28 hours a week, over 100 hours a month. Do you understand what 100 hours a month could build? I'm not saying rest is wrong. I'm saying unconscious rest, the kind where you don't even enjoy it, is the most expensive thing in your life. You're trading your future for content you won't remember in 48 hours. The men I know who changed their situation didn't find extra time. They looked at where their time was already going and made different decisions. One of them learned real estate fundamentals in 90 days, watching YouTube instead of Netflix, reading instead of scrolling, same hours, different inputs. 2 years later, he owned 2 properties. Your hours are the only resource that doesn't replenish. Money can come back. Time cannot, and right now, you're spending it like it's free. The paycheck trap. The salary is not the problem. The relationship with the salary is the problem. Most people treat a paycheck like a finish line. It arrives, they breathe, they spend, they wait for the next one. That's not financial management, that's survival on a loop. I worked for a salary once, for 7 years, and every month I watched it arrive and disappear. Not on luxury, on small things, daily things, things I barely remember. Coffee, comfort, convenience. The death of wealth is not one big bad decision. It's 1,000 small ones made without thinking. The question is never, can I afford this? The question is, what does this cost me in future options? That 3,000 dirham purchase today might cost you an investment that doubles in 5 years. Most people never make that calculation because it requires thinking past this week. And thinking past this week is uncomfortable. It means acknowledging that the future is coming, whether you prepare for it or not. It's coming for you. The only question is what you'll have when it arrives. So, what do the people who actually change do differently? They stop waiting to feel ready. They stop waiting for someone to believe in them. They stop explaining their situation and start changing it. Quietly, without announcing it. They pick one thing, one skill, one habit, one decision, and they repeat it until it becomes who they are, not a goal, an identity. The man who saves 10% of every paycheck doesn't think about saving. He's just someone who saves. It's already decided. The man who reads every night doesn't debate whether to read. He reads. That's what he does. Identity is more powerful than motivation, because identity doesn't depend on how you feel. The shift is not dramatic. Nobody will notice it at first. But in 2 years, 3 years, the distance between you and where you were will be impossible to ignore. That distance starts with one decision, made today, not Monday. I failed at 27, lost everything I had built. I sat in a small apartment in the Bronx with nothing but time and the understanding that I had wasted years blaming things outside of myself. That night, I made a decision. Not to succeed, success is too abstract. I decided to stop being the reason my own life wasn't moving. That's all it was. Nobody saved me. Nobody handed me anything. I just stopped being in my own way. 13 years later, I was free, not rich in the way people fantasize about. Free in the way that matters. No alarm I didn't set myself. No boss I needed. No month I feared. That's available to you. Not because I say so, because the math works if you do. But you have to decide that your excuses are no longer more important than your life. Only you can make that call. And you already know if you're ready.